My name is Meaghan Shields. I am a dancer from Canada. I am an instructor and a performer and a lover of this dance form. I currently live in the Jordan Valley in Israel, where I'm practicing and teaching and performing as well. And today I'm going to teach you a very basic movement in this form called down hips. They can also be called hip drops. I've heard them called that before as well. And then we're going to do some variations on the down hip. So we're going to take it into a walk, a basic walk, and then a few other variations, a little bit more complex on the walking down hips. So to begin with, I'm going to show you the very, very, very basic motions. So you want to, as always, make sure that you are working to begin with your feet nice and soft, the knees soft, pelvis centered, and we're going to be working with the hips now. So with the down hips, you're thinking about taking a weight and attaching it to your sits bone. So kind of like right here. And you're going to allow your hip and your sits bone to drop down towards the floor. The way that you're going to achieve this is by bending the knee, as you can see here. So coming from an equal place of softened knees, I'm going to take my right knee and drop it down, which is going to bring my right hip closer down towards the floor. And then switching. So transferring over onto the left side, bending the left knee and allowing that left hip to travel downward. Again, transferring to the right, bending the right knee, right hip travels down. Left, right, left, right last time, left, and right. Excellent. So now I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see what I'm doing from this angle. What's very important here is that your pelvis, your belly, your spine is centered. So you don't want to be having your sits bone swaying back, because then you're going to have this sort of motion happening, which is not so good. That's not what we're going for today. So really being aware of having that pelvis centered, nice long spine reaching upward, and now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to think about dropping that right knee downward. The hip is going to follow, and you'll see I'm very aligned through center. My butt isn't poking back, my pelvis isn't coming forward. It's nice and centered. And then left side, come on the side so you can see, and right. Left, right. Okay? So making sure to keep very centered through the pelvis as we're working with the knees and the hips, going down, 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 down. One more note on technique. We want to think always with this particular down hip that it is going as vertically down as possible. So as little horizontal movement, so trying not to go out with the hip. This is a different movement. This I call a down hip on the slide, which is also very nice, but it's a different thing. Okay? So for our straight 100% down hips, you can practice by taking your arms and putting them right beside your body, right on your hips, hands placed on the thighs. And from this position, while you're working with your down hips, your arms basically should not be moving at all. They should not be being pushed out by the hips. Okay? So, in this way, we can have completely vertical movement with no sway back and nice, clean, and even down hips. Excellent. So this is our basic movement, the down hip. Next we're going to take it onto a basic walk. So, as we found out before, our down hip happens when we have this bending in through the knee. So you can see the knee drops, the hip drops. And so, as you might imagine, all of my weight is in that right leg right now. So the left foot is free to perhaps lift and then drop. Lift, drop. So as I'm transferring my weight to come into my left leg, to bend that left knee, to cast the hip downward, it is free to pick up and drop. Pick up, drop. Pick up, drop. Pick up, drop, up, drop, up, drop. So you just need to remember that your down hip leg, your down hip side and knee is the weighted side. So the other foot can prepare for the step and down hip. Step, down hip. Step, down hip, step, down hip. So I've just demonstrated how we can walk forward and back with down hips. Okay, so this is a very, very basic motion. As you can see right now, I think, I don't know if you can see all the way down to my feet right now, but I've been practicing thus far on flat feet. But you can also take this movement up onto your toes so that you can have the same idea, down, 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 except now you're working on half toes. Flat feet, half toes, whichever you prefer. So that is our forward and back down hip walking. Forward, back, flat feet, or half toes. Down, 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 down. Excellent. Next, we're going to take it on the side. So now it becomes not more complicated, but perhaps just a little bit more thinking. So we're going to travel thinking with the right hip towards the right side. So it's basically the same idea as walking forward or back, in that your weighted foot is going to be the down hip foot. Down. The difference being, when we're stepping, we're going to favor that right foot. So that is going to be the foot that's going to take us in our traveling step, because I want to travel towards the right now. Left is the catch-up foot. Okay, so that's the only one that is going to come in and you're going to stay in the same position. The right, then, is going to take you out further. Catch up. Down hip, 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 down hip. If you want to go towards the left, the same thing, except in reverse. The left foot, the weighted foot with the down hip, is going to be the one stepping out. The right foot is going to catch up. Down on the left, stepping out. Down on the right, catching up. Down on the left, stepping out. Down on the right, catching up. Down, 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 down. Okay? So that's a basic horizontal, linear walking down hips. Same as before, I was just demonstrating on flat feet, but you can very easily take that onto half toes. And I think often you will see this movement done on half toes. It has a nice floating line. Just making sure, as I said that if you're going to come up onto your half toes, you don't want to have bouncing up and down. So try to limit the sense of bobbing. Really try to imagine that book floating on your head. And just the hips are doing their nice, clean, down hip motions.